on.
We're on already?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Okay, Lady and the Legend, we're on. Anybody else on? I don't think so, but we're on here. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Thanksgiving. And now the next...
Wait, Thanksgiving still?
Well, what
is today Thanksgiving?
I don't know what it is.
Every day is Thanksgiving.
Every day we're thankful for a lot of stuff. Good morning to Boston Paul. Good morning to Chris from Cambridge.
Can you scoot over a little?
Danny Fuller. Anything else you want me to do?
You're with your arm,
yeah,
not your body.
All right.
Arm.
What am I supposed to be?
You're fine.
Okay. Tommy Johnson, Danny Fuller, Chris from Cambridge, Boston Paul, and now you can go.
Okay. So we want to say happy birthday to Chuck Finley, who's 61 today.
Chuck Finley is 61. Didn't his wife beat somebody up?
I have no idea.
At some point, physically, his wife, I think his wife beat him up.
Him?
Yeah, Chuck Finley.
He probably deserved it.
How
Just
do you
like
know?
you.
How do you know?
When I beat you up, you deserve it.
All right, go ahead. Captain Danny Fuller is here. Good morning. Now, here's the deal. For those of you listening in, and there's not too many listening in, we hope in the future, starting today, to change the chat room a little bit. Now, remember, it's not about money. Chat room is not about money. The chat room is about relationships, friendships, information, and just about anything that it takes to have fun. We would like to raise the chat room. We'd like to get 40 people in the chat room every day.
Okay.
40 people. So I'm asking those who are listening, get some people. And let's get them in the chat room. We're not charging anything. It's free. It's on demand. It can be live. You can have a lot of fun. Bring people to the chat room. That's number one.
Boston Paul is pretty proud of himself today.
Why is that?
He won his college football league. It was his first fantasy college football league.
Well, that's phenomenal. Mitchell Harston is here. Danny Fuller, as we said. Boston Paul. Great job by Boston Paul. And the fun of, we can't say that winning is not fun. All right? Winning is not fun. It should put some dollars in your pocket. But it's all about having fun. That adds to it. There's no question about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Now, just to keep you all posted, the winter meetings will take place December 4th through December 7th in Nashville. Okay?
Right. So we'll have some tidbits coming up.
We'll have a lot of stuff coming up. A lot of stuff.
But today we're going to talk about some... John Heyman put out a good article. Now, I have to say, this is for Malpal, because somehow Malpal got John Heyman to block him on Twitter.
Yeah, he got John Heyman to block him. Now,
he said he didn't see anything from Heyman in a while, so he went to look at his stuff, and he blocked him.
My John Heyman story is the all-time great story in America, and John Heyman acknowledges it. We were at a game in the exhibition season when Erwin Zwilling and I were on TV. We were on TV doing a segment on fantasy baseball, and we see that John Heyman is standing behind us. So I decide to come out with the rumor, and I whispered to Erwin, just loud enough for Heyman to hear us, Don Mattingly is going to St. Louis. Now, we were recognizable back in those days. So the next day, in John Heyman's column, Don Mattingly could be going to St. Louis, and it was totally fabricated.
That's still how he works today.
Well,
so half of the stuff he says is fabricated, and half of the... But look, I have no problem when he comes up with good stuff to talk about. He made some good points in his article, and we're going to go over it a little bit today. First of all, he talks about the trade market and the big players that will potentially get traded. He predicts the trade chances for 8 stars.
Yeah, and a lot of them White Sox, too. The White Sox. Now, last year, the White Sox was my team, right? And
I wouldn't be proud of that.
No, but I'm honest about it. And I was along with
that
a
was
lot
like
of
2 years ago.
I was and I liked them last year too.
You like Luis Robert.
I like,
and he's on the list.
A lot of the players. The
first one on the list.
Let me just finish. The Rule 5 draft takes place in the final day of the winter meeting, and certain minor leaguers who are not on the 40-man roster, if a team selects a player, they must keep that player on their 26-man roster or the injured list for the entire season, or be forced to offer him back to the team he was selected from. And once a player is offered arbitration, the team that the player's agents have decent amount of time to come to terms. They have a lot of time to come to terms. And if that doesn't happen, decides to submit salary proposals, and the player's salary is determined by independent arbitrators. All right?
Okay, Laura and Mary are here. Chris from Cambridge, Gallows, Debbie and Chris, Danny and Penny, Leonard Donaldson, Rotorius, Tommy Johnson, and a couple guests that I can't see.
Okay, and the guests are very nice. Everybody, Tommy Johnson.
Rotorius. Did I say
go.
Rotorius?
Great stuff.
Dennis is here, and Aiden, the best kid in the town.
Okay.
Mr. Dennis, Timko, and Aiden.
Good morning, everybody. So the trade market is hot. Big, but you haven't heard anything because we have the winter meetings. We got a lot of stuff. And ever since, the off season started, I've kind of tempered my enthusiasm on some of these trades. And
wait a minute.
Yes.
You've tempered your enthusiasm.
Yes, I have.
What does that mean?
Like, I thought there was a no-brainer that Tyler Glasnow was going to be traded. Okay?
I don't know how it's a no-brainer. It doesn't. He's $25 million. That's why he's a trade target. But why would the Rays give him up? I mean, he's $25 million. It's not expensive.
What do you mean that's not expensive?
$25 million?
$25 million for the Tampa Rays. Their team is less than $100 million. Yes, it's a big expense.
It's a big expense for the Rays, so they're going to trade him.
So I wonder if they are going to trade him.
Well, Heyman says it's 70%, and I'll tell you something about Tyler Glasnow. He had a decent season last year. His ERA and his WHIP, or his ERA specifically, did not really tell the true story since it was sitting at like 3.5 at the end of the season. He strikes out a ton of batters. We know that for sure. He will never stop striking out batters. But he absolutely goes deep into games. He's their number one starting pitcher, right above Eflin. And if they keep this rotation together, the Rays are a team to be reckoned with.
And you just said it. But if they keep the team's rotation together.
But then why would they trade him?
Because it's money.
They are under $100. They have to. That has to be in, or $100 million has to be including him. That's $25 million for him and Eflin, $75 million for the rest of the team.
Aaron Savali, Zach Little, Taj Bradley. This is Shane Batts, who's got an elbow problem. Don't forget McClanahan, Tommy John, Jeffrey. Tampa, if they trade Glasnow, says this year we're not concerned with making the playoffs. That's what that says. Therefore, I don't believe they will be trading Tyler Glasnow.
Well, Heyman says 70%.
All right. I say 30%, okay?
All right.
So, he's got a 20. I'll tell you something. It's very interesting to see if Tampa makes the trade. And what about, let's just talk for a second. Do you think that Juan Soto is going to get traded by San Diego?
I don't know.
Well, that's a good answer for a radio show.
I just don't know.
Nobody knows.
Honestly, I don't even care about this stuff.
All right, so let's skip Juan Soto. Okay?
Well, let's talk about him. He's on the list, and I'm not going to care about any of these other players more.
You said you don't know.
I don't know.
So
Nobody
what do you want
knows.
to talk? Go ahead and talk about him.
I'll tell you what Heyman says. He talks about the untimely death of the owner, Peter Seidler, which I've talked to Malpal quite a bit about this. Was not untimely. The reason that the Padres
What do you mean it wasn't untimely?
Yes, he was young when he passed away, but it was not unexpected.
Oh,
He
okay.
was
It's a big difference.
He was not well.
Okay.
Okay, that's why they spent so much money going into last season. They're obviously now, because of the fact that he passed away, assuming that the Padres need to stop spending. That is just based on the fact that this guy died and he was really trying to win before he died. Now that he died, now what? They're just not going to try to win? I don't know. But Soto, his agent is Scott Boras, and he's saying that Soto is only going to consider an extension if it's well above $440 million that he turned down when the Nationals offered it to him. So the fact that it's going to be almost impossible to extend this guy, even if they don't try to cut payroll a ton, the Padres are not known to be like the Mets, the Yankees, the Red Sox, even though the Red Sox haven't done it lately. Anyway, $440 million is the asking extension price or higher. And so if the Padres do decide to trade Soto, you can expect them to get 2 prospects.
Any chance of the Padres doing the opposite? Any chance they could get Shohei Ohtani and spend a ton of money? Okay?
It's so funny that the same guy that writes about how the Padres are destined to cut spending then turns around and says, what if the Padres get Ohtani? It's like, dude, either they're cutting spending or they're getting Ohtani. You don't get both of those things.
King App is here. Let's see.
And so he says that the odds of 65% that Soto gets traded, I believe that's probably about right. I agree with him on that.
SM King Turd is here.
What about Dylan Cease, Daniel? Dylan Cease.
Daniel.
Now, the White Sox...
Wait, is Daniel here? No, I don't see Daniel, but go ahead with Dylan Cease.
The White Sox are telling everybody that they'll talk to other teams about any player, okay? And Heyman says that they've talked seriously on Dylan Cease. Do you talk unseriously and seriously? Is there 2 types of talking about Dylan Cease?
There's talk and there's chatter.
And there's serious talk.
Well, it's kind of laying a bridge.
Good morning, King App.
Also,
and James K.
That's it. Big Al is here.
Oh, James K. is not in the snowy Wisconsin today. He's down in the Gulf Shores, and it's raining.
Malpal has made it in. And ladies and gentlemen, what a great crowd we have.
Thank goodness none of us are sitting at the airport, unless you are, King Hap. Who knows?
Nobody's at the airport. Nobody. But Dylan Cease should be at the airport. The White Sox lost 101 games. And the Orioles and the Diamondbacks showed us how to transform into a playoff team after losing 100 games.
2 straight seasons.
So still, it's likely that the White Sox, and I really believe that the White Sox, they have so many players who have the ability yet disappointed them. And I really think they're going to be making wholesale trades. And Eloy could be one of them.
Dylan Cease has not missed a start in 3 straight seasons, okay? He did have ace talent in 2022. He had a 2.20 ERA, and he's still 2 years away from free agency. So there you go with Dylan Cease. He had 1 great season, but he is a workhorse, and I'll give him that for sure. Eloy's another guy that Lenny just brought up. They're seriously discussing, okay? The promising hitter has been hurt a ton, which has dropped his value quite a bit. And I don't know if they do put Eloy. Yeah. If Eloy is coming to another team, the other team is not going to pay. His market value is diminished quite a bit over the last couple years because he could never stay healthy. So Heyman says the odds of Eloy getting traded are 50%.
That's right.
I think they should just keep Eloy because they're not going to. You don't trade your players at their lowest value.
I think you trade.
Methical's here.
Methical is here. Good morning to Methical.
And Tommy Johnson.
Tommy Johnson, SM King Turd. You know, the Rockies, the A's, the Nationals, the Pirates were all unlikely to compete in 2024. Yankees, Giants, Phillies are relatively set at DH when you're talking about getting Eloy. Okay, the Padres, the Rays, the Reds, the Cardinals, the Orioles, all figure to focus on adding pitching rather than.
Well, you missed a few. You missed Corbin Burns, Luis Roberts.
I'm not done yet. All right, you go. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not done yet.
Then continue, please.
Okay. Oh. The Blue Jays, I don't know where I am. Jimenez could go back and just do a lot. Okay, now do I have that on my list? I have all those players you just mentioned? Or no? Or
Probably
no?
up on your notes. Probably you probably scrolled right past them.
Well, in any event, as far as teams that are yeah, Corbin Burns is the guy who's going to be traded. Okay, let's talk. All right, will Corbin Burns get traded? That's I'm going to
scroll up.
Will Corbin Burns get traded? I'm asking you. And there's no answer.
Because I don't know the answer.
You
to
don't know
any
the
of these.
answer?
I don't know. The Brewers are telling teams they'll listen on everyone, and true ace Burns is worth a bundle, according to Heyman. They can win their division again and trade. If they trade Burns, it seriously diminishes their chances, so I don't get it. And he says it's a 30% chance that he'll get traded.
Well, I think they'll get traded. See, here's what I think. Very difficult to trade your best pitcher and expect your fans to believe that you're contending. So I take the position that the Brewers are telling teams they'll listen on everyone, and Burns is worth a bundle. However, if they can win their division again, I doubt if they can trade Burns. Remarkably, they have avoided selling despite existing in Major League Baseball's number 30 market. Okay, maybe at the deadline, but I think the odds on Burns being traded probably around 25%.
Well, James K. is our biggest Brewers fan in the chat room, and he said 100% Burns is gone.
100% that Corbin Burns is gone. And then as a fan, what would the fans do if they trade their best pitcher? Would the fans take the position that, you know something, they traded Corbin Burns, money is worth more than winning, and we're staying away? Isn't that what happens?
I don't know. Cardinals said they were going after pitching. They've gone after pitching. Hats off to the Cardinals not specifying what type of pitching they did. That's from Chris from Cambridge. And you know what? He's right. The Cardinals decided to go for pitching. They got the most home runs allowed, the most hits allowed, and the most runs allowed, all on their rotation now.
Yep. But they do have... All right, so look, the Cardinals...
And
they have signed 2 pitchers already, and they're going to sign another one. It might be Yamamoto, and it could be anybody. The Cardinals could go big. So, what do you think? You think Cleveland?
wait. The Brewers.
Yeah, go ahead.
They're talking about the Brewers having a conflict with Burns. That they burned that bridge last year with Burns, and King Turd says he bets he won't even negotiate with the Brewers. Okay, and everybody's agreeing that there's bad feelings between Burns and the Brewers. So this is from our wonderful, great, informative, interactive chat room that we have. Okay,
The best in the country.
The people,
the best.
They save our asses when we are about to beat each other's brains in.
That's right.
Give me my coffee back.
That's your coffee?
Yes.
I thought it was mine.
You don't have any.
Well, oh, you gotta be kidding me. I'm telling you. When you stay in the house as much as we have, and all we talk about is how much we love each other, I think it's the opposite. But at least we don't fight. I'm not that
Thanks
stupid.
to the chat room for saving us.
Thank
okay,
you to
that's
the
so
chat
funny,
room.
dude.
The chat room doesn't realize you have
I think
saved
they do.
the life of 2 people.
I think they do know, and they jumped in immediately, dude.
For a couple of hours a day, the chat room jumps in and saves the life of the Roto Lady and the Legend. Okay? So we sincerely thank you. Aiden, close your ears. You're not supposed to hear this.
Aiden's getting bigger now. He plays the piano. He plays everything.
Mexico. Good morning.
We're so proud of Aiden.
I'm so proud of everybody. And remember, let's get 40 people starting next week.
And Mel Palentina, they woke up.
What, they broke up?
No, they
woke up. That's right.
They're not going to break
up. All right.
Mel Palentina, welcome aboard.
Let's talk about another White Sox since we've been
Shane
talking.
Bieber.
That's not a White Sox.
Let's talk about him real quick.
Okay.
The Guardians are unafraid to pull the triggers, but the former Cy Young winner wouldn't command what he should because he didn't have a good season last year. John Heyman thinks the percent of chance that Bieber gets traded is only 20%. Let's talk about your guy, one of your favorites, and it's well and widely known, Luis Robert.
Okay, but you see, as far as Cleveland, the problem, there's only a couple of teams that can make a trade and not have it affect their fans. What do I mean by affecting their fans? I've said it many times. You make a trade now, and you're telling your fans you're not interested in winning this year. And for Cleveland to trade Shane Bieber, and I think they might.
Well, they can they even win with him, though? The fans are pretty fair when it comes to this. I mean, if you started trading off pieces and you could win, that's one thing that pisses off fans. But if you got Shane Bieber and you got a bunch of junk everywhere else,
well, they're not poor. They got Tristan McKenzie. Tanner Beebe is going to be a good pitcher. Logan Allen is already a good pitcher. Gavin Williams is going to be a good pitcher. So they have the foundation for having a good pitching staff. Okay?
Good morning to Chris Northrup, our resident Yankees fan.
There she is. Chrissy Northrup is here. My favorite Yankee. There you go. Nice to see you, Chris. Great Chris.
Big Yankee fan.
And listen to her podcast. She is absolutely remarkable.
You could put the link in the chat room, Chris, for your YouTube show. They do a great show with the Yankees. Okay, Pete Alonso.
Wait a second.
Vulture Media is finally admitting that Alonso is probably not going to be traded. And it's not because teams aren't interested in him, okay? So all this nonsense that they're trying to destroy the reputation of this guy about him not being a good clubhouse guy, why would all these teams be interested? John Heyman says teams are asking all over the place for this guy. He's a year from free agency, but the Mets have every intention of holding on to him. He's a homegrown Met, okay? And they're seeing if they can even re-sign him after the season, just like they did with Nimmo and Edwin Diaz. And Heyman says the chances of Alonso getting traded are 5%.
Not only are they going to keep Alonso, they're going to sign more players than they need. This will be an overreaction to a terrible year last year. So you'll see.
Dirty Eck is here.
Who?
Dirty Eck.
Oh, Dirty Eck is here. Good
Another
morning.
Mets fan. Just in time for the Alonso stuff.
Yep. Good to see you, Dirty Eck. Now,
Malpal says Bibee or BB.
Yeah,
I think it's Bibee.
He's a good pitcher.
Well, he says he's a regression candidate. You got to say why, Malpal.
Yeah.
Okay, you got to say why. The Yankees also have inquired about Jung-Hoo Lee, who is a two-way center fielder. He's only 24 years old, but Yankees are not alone. There's 20 teams after Jung-Hoo Lee.
That's right. If you don't know him, do some research and get... did we talk about Luis Robert?
Thank you for showing up, Dirty Ack. We appreciate it.
Yes. Luis Robert.
Yes, your boy.
Did we talk about him?
What about him?
My question is, did we talk about him?
No.
Your answer can't be what about him. It's yes or no. Did we talk about him?
No.
Okay, let's talk about him.
I tried to a couple times, but you just kept...
He is going to be traded. The White Sox are going to tear up this team. I wouldn't be shocked if all the White Sox guys are traded. I wouldn't be shocked.
Well, the rival GMs say that the White Sox have been in discussions with every player. They do not care. There's nobody off the trading block. But your boy Luis Robert, I think John Heyman only has him at a 10% chance of being traded for the Luis Robert.
Yeah.
But I look at it like this, dude. You're gonna get the amount that he's worth on this guy if you trade him. Unlike other guys on the White Sox who had horrible years.
Oh, he's a power speed guy.
And he proved it. So at least if they're going to trade, Heyman thinks there's a bigger chance of Eloy getting traded than Luis Robert. And I say no way on that. My whole reasoning is that you don't trade players at their lowest value, and Eloy is definitely not going to bring back what he's capable of.
But the Yankees are going to get Luis Robert. It makes all the sense. If I'm wrong, I will eat my hat. Oh, I've already eaten it. But Luis Robert to the Yankees. Okay, I'll say it
Luis
again.
Robert to the Yankees. There you go. You want Luis Robert? That would be great for the Yankees. It'd be great for any team.
So the White Sox, who just got Michael Soroka, they're going to lose Clevenger. They're going to lose Jose Urena. They're going to lose Yasmani Grandal. They will probably, they might lose Moncada and Benintendi and Eloy. I got to tell you, this White Sox team next year is going to be brand new. But they do have Paul DeJong. What do you think? And Nicky Lopez. That will be their...
freaking do.
I like it. I like it.
Paul DeJong?
Yes.
Just because you've had a man crush on this guy for years.
And I think they will be good.
The guy can't even hit the Mendoza line.
They will be good fantasy picks next year.
They have Clevenger. Good grief.
No,
this
Clevenger
team.
will be gone.
Oh.
They'll get rid of everybody, but I do think that, I do think they're on their way. Okay?
MLB teams batting. Okay, talk about the Mendoza line.
Yeah.
Every year we have this discussion, okay? Every year. And
What are you looking for?
nothing.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh.
I'm scratching myself.
You had your...
Never mind. Go ahead. What are you talking about? MLB teams? About what?
Batting average keeps going down every year. It keeps going down. The number of teams hitting under 240, it was 0 between 1998 and 2009. There were 0 teams that hit under 240.
240, right.
In 2011, it just started happening. There was one team. Then in 2012, there were 2 teams. In 2013, there were 5 teams. And it kept going like that until 2020. Can you... I'm reading...
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you knew it.
I'm in the middle of reading it, and Lenny starts scrolling.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. In 2018, there were 8 of them. In 2020, there were 11. In 2021, 12 teams hitting under 240.
And last year...
Hold on. In 2022, there were 14. That's almost half of baseball hitting under 240. And then this last year, it went down by half. There was only 8 teams hitting under 240. So do you think that has anything to do with the rule changes? That these batting averages, actually, for once, as long as I can remember, the batting average did not drop.
Right.
Maybe it's hit its low because it's pretty low. I mean, you used to look at a guy that batted 260 and you would avoid him on your fantasy team if he was batting 260. Right. Now you see a guy batting 260 and you're like, oh, that's great. That isn't going to hurt me one bit. Even Paul DeJong with his 210 isn't even going to crush you.
But he could hit a home run. You'll see.
He could. He used to.
All right.
Did he hit any last year? Paul DeJong?
Yeah, he had a bad year last year.
And the year before.
The year before, he had a good year.
Well, why didn't the White Sox just keep Elvis Andrus?
That I don't know.
Because if you look at these two, they let Elvis Andrus go, and then they went out and traded for Paul DeJong.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the teams that figured to be making the trades, okay? Some of the teams that really need the players, and some of like the Diamondbacks, they're the NL champions. They figured to attempt to improve their 84-win season. They've already added Eugenio Suarez at third base. Suarez and Christian Walker give them some much-needed thump from the right-hand side. But they still have a clear vacancy at DH. And I think Eloy would be perfect for Arizona to sign as a DH.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously, their biggest need has been power. They addressed partially that with a Eugenio Suarez, but they also have Christian Walker, so they could use these two very much, and also Eloy. But like I said, the guys that are going to get the short end of the stick here is going to be the White Sox if they trade Jimenez, because he's going to go somewhere else and he's going to be healthy. Now, I want to just...
Well, they could get Jake McCarthy and Dominic Fletcher.
Jake McCarthy.
Well, a stolen base guy.
He was one of the most disappointing guys last year.
Okay, good.
He's a stolen base guy. So the Diamondbacks, they're not really a good fit for a guy like him.
Good.
Don't they already have a bunch of stolen bases?
Yes.
They have stolen bases coming out of their genes.
Okay, that's
How about Malpal? We talked about Tyler Glasnow or okay, I bring up Tyler Glasnow, but the point is, when we brought up Tanner Bybee, Malpal said that he's a regression candidate. He explained why in the chat room, which I think is absolutely worth talking about for just a second.
Okay.
And that would be that he only has a 36% ground ball rate. This ground ball rate is important to pay attention to, especially with guys like Bybee, who strikes out batters. So he's looking good. Everybody looks at him and they go, oh, the guy, he's great. He could strike out batters. But when he's not striking out batters, if he can't induce ground balls, he is going to struggle with home runs. He also has an 81% strand rate, which is absolutely 100% unsustainable. As a starting pitcher, you cannot keep that. And it leads me to Tyler Glasnow, which we talked about before Malpal got here, but we talked about Glasnow potentially being a trade. According to the guy who blocked you, Malpal, John Heyman, he says that there's like a 75% chance that Glasnow gets traded.
Because of the money.
Because of the money. He cost $25 million. To me, that's pretty reasonable, especially when Lenny brought up the fact that the Rays' entire payroll is $100 million. So if they trade off $25 million of it, I mean, what are they going to get? Their rotation is, they need him. But with Glasnow, he's never really looked at like a workhorse. He gets injured constantly throughout his career. This past season, he did have a good season. But his ERA was quite high considering his underlying stats. I mean, Glasnow was on fire last year with his ground ball and his strikeout rate. We know for sure what we could expect from Glasnow with the strikeouts. His ground ball rate was like 52%, and he's striking out 33% of batters. So while his ERA was 3.5, and I think that it's going to force some people to pass him up in drafts, man, he pitched so much better than that 3.5. And the other day I questioned whether Glasnow can pitch without the sticky substances, because out of all the pitchers in baseball, when they really cracked down on the sticky substance stuff, Glasnow immediately threw his elbow out and had to get Tommy John surgery, and pretty much all but admitted that it was because the ball, he couldn't get a good grip on the ball. So now that we've seen him, he did pitch a decent number of innings last year, about as many as you can expect from the guy. Now, going into next season, are you high on Glasnow, Malpal? I couldn't believe his ground ball and his strikeout rate were so high with an ERA of 3.5.
All right, so Glasnow could be a very interesting pitcher, and Seattle could be a very interesting team. They just made the trade for Eugenio Suarez, and the reason they traded him, and this is crazy, not crazy, but not the first time I've heard of a team making a trade to reduce their strikeouts. They traded Suarez to lose strike, but they opened up a hole. So I think they're going to wind up getting Eugenio. They traded Suarez They're going to get Jimenez from the White Sox.
Oh, wait, didn't you just give Jimenez to the Diamondbacks?
No, that was Suarez. Okay, Eugenio Suarez.
He's already in the Diamondbacks.
Is going to go. Well, why are you confusing me?
Because you said that it would be good if the Arizona Diamondbacks added Eloy to their...
Yes, Eloy Jimenez.
Because he can hit DH, right?
Eloy to the Mariners, okay? Eloy to the Mariners.
Now you want him to go to the Mariners.
I just said that.
Okay.
Oh, he profiles best as a DH, but he could also chip in left field.
Yes.
So he can absolutely
So we're talking
do that.
about mostly Eloy right now and the teams that would fit for Eloy. The
That's
Mariners, right? Now we
Yep.
have the Marlins, all right?
Well, the Marlins are among the best fits for Jimenez also, okay? And they were interested in him last year at the trade deadline.
Good morning to Merrill.
Well, Merrill is here. How
We
you
loved
doing?
your photos of your great family get together. We
Yeah.
got 2 family men and hearts and brothers, and they have a great, wonderful family with lots of babies and kids.
Jimenez could fill the void left by Jorge Soler at the price point not far above the $12 million Soler would have expected to get.
Right, so he's gone, right?
That's pretty easy.
He's gone.
Now, what about the Angels? What are they going to do? And of course, the whole thing depends on Ohtani. But are they going
Ohtani's history from the Angels.
to? You think he's just, or you think they're going to keep him and load up?
Dude,
what do you think?
I'm rooting for the Mets to get Ohtani and Yamamoto and keep Pete Alonso, and then I can't wait to go to a game with Laura next year.
All right.
That's what I'm hoping for.
We talked about the Brewers as a possible candidate to pick up somebody. What about the Mets? With the Mets seemingly facing an uncertain future, and you'll see Steve Cohen is going to go nuts this year. Okay? They're not an obvious pick for Eloy, but still, Eloy seems unlikely to require an exorbitant prospect, so the Mets could be among teams that could go after Eloy.
Oh, that's right. Now, let's talk to Chris Northrup for a second. The whole chat room is talking about the Yankees. Now, Turd brings up 2 guys that have the same name, the Oswaldos, Oswaldo Cabrera and Oswaldo Peraza. A shortstop and an outfielder, right?
Yeah.
Both of these guys deserved to have a chance last year. Both of these guys were on multiple of my fantasy teams, and both of them did not get the opportunities because Volpe, and I'm not knocking Volpe, I know that he did a great job and the Yankees fans love him. But what about the Oswaldos? I'm now directing this towards Chris because she is the big Yankee gal. We want to know for fantasy purposes, are these Oswaldos going to do anything for the Yankees next year? And if they do, then we know they're good candidates for fantasy assets because we've seen what they could do if they get a chance to do it. But that did not happen last year. So let's talk about the Oswaldos in the chat room, and you could go on about the Red Sox being a potential fit for Eloy.
Yeah.
Right? Because their primary DH this season was Justin Turner.
Right.
Now he's a free agent again. I'd like to hear from King Hap,
But the
Boston
Red Sox
Paul.
are still more focused on pitching. Okay?
The Red Sox have so many holes, they're like Swiss cheese.
Okay. And they've got Wilyer Abreu and Sadani Rafaela. Could be interesting situation. You should know these guys. They could be players. Even Atlanta. Atlanta may not have a need. Eddie Rosario departed. So Jimenez and Marcell Ozuna are best served as full-timers in the DH slot. So Jimenez could be heading over there. The Dodgers make sense for Jimenez. On paper, they have a vacancy at DH. J.D. Martinez could be that guy. Go ahead. Anything for you?
Anything for me.
And the Texas Rangers, they've been extremely aggressive. They could be. Mitch Garver could make more sense for Texas if they want a regular player at DH. Ezekiel Duran could allow them to use a DH slot to afford regular players in the infield and the outfield. And they're ready to commit to Jimenez as well.
Look at what I have to say now
Go ahead.
to our wonderful, informative, very bright chat room.
Go ahead.
Boston Paul is just projecting on the Mets because his team is so bad. The Red Sox, they're horrible. So he says that the Mets are a joke and will F it up no matter who they pick up. And then Danny, okay, the pesky Dodgers fan, agrees with him. And I just say to you, until you get your room in order, you don't throw bricks from a glass house.
Okay, from a glass house. Anybody have any questions or comments?
And I love the Mets.
If you want to make a phone call, make it right now because we're not going to be around. Well, yeah, we got a big Thanksgiving dinner coming up.
Tommy Johnson says, I think he's referring it to Glass now. He says that it's crazy to think as a Pirates fan, all the pitchers that they've let go and where they are now. How some of these pitchers that they let go have performed, including but not limited to guys like Garrett Cole, Tyler Glass now, and even Jamison Tyon came from the Pirates. Those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. He says that they could have been in the Pirates rotation if only Nutting would actually like to spend his money. You know, Tommy, you got the best ballpark in baseball, albeit I haven't seen all the ballparks. I haven't been to San Francisco and a couple other ones. But the ones that we've gone to, some of the best ones, the Pittsburgh ballpark is the best one based on a myriad of things such as...
A myriad?
Yes,
that's
like
good.
the ticket prices. Do you remember the seats you were able to get us for $40?
Yeah, $40-something.
The parking was only $10. The sidewalks are so clean. They look like they... Now, this, mind you, this was before... I don't know what's happened in Pittsburgh in the last few years, but it was absolutely stunning when we went there. The sidewalks were swept. They were cobblestones. It was just a great time, had by all. We do hope the Mets...
I just put the phone number in the chat room. You got a couple of minutes. Give us a call if you'd like right now. Go.
Boston Paul says New York fans are friggin' clueless.
Think so? David Stearns, the new manager over at... Not the manager, but he's directing traffic for the Mets. I really believe that the Mets are going to spend money like crazy. Crazy. So let's see what happens.
The Red Sox suck. I hate to say it. I used to be a huge Red Sox fan, but they've disappointed me dramatically. And now I'm rooting for the Mets.
Happy Thanksgiving to James Caplion, who wishes us the same. Big Al on the Prowl, Boston Paul, Chris from Cambridge, Danny Fuller, Dennis Temko, and Aiden. Duro, Dirty Eck. We love Dirty Eck in the chat room. Love it. James, I'm so excited. Dirty Eck is here. Oh, my gosh. James Caplion, King Hap, Leonard Donaldson, Laura, Malpal, Merrill, Mitchell, Methical, Rotorius, Rotolith,
Zelmo's here. We didn't see Zelmo.
We didn't see Zelmo. We're sorry, Zelmo.
Zelmo and Tony.
SM King Turd is here. Why, are you kidding me? Okay, can the Mets print money too? We'll see.
That's pretty good.
Luke Vogt and the Boston Red Sox.
They obviously can because they have the unlimited amounts.
Look, I think the Red Sox have to get some pitching. They just have to do it. And they have Trevor Story, who fantasy-wise, I think he's a pick. You got that? I will pay $12, $13 for Trevor Story, okay?
Oh, give me a break, Boston Paul.
So there you go. Anything else? Any other questions? Love the medicine shout-outs. I don't know what that means, but call us. It's in the chat room. Just scroll up just a bit. You'll see it. Bring back Tim Tebow. We're going to do it all, including tomorrow at 9 a.m., getting back to normal.
I hope the Red Sox sign Snell.
And thank you, everybody. So Snell could be the last pitcher, the last good player signed.
What does that mean? Is he even that good?
Well, he made, look...
Malpal would agree that he is good.
He was the best pitcher out there. He won the Cy Young twice. It's going to be fun. Thank you, everybody. We will see you tomorrow. Dirty Eck.
No,
agrees.
don't say it.
Yankee fans are pompous. Good. Forget the other one. See you later, everybody.